Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 823. Man, am I excited for this episode. Always enjoying hanging out with Mr. Joel from Norstar Genetics. But this would mark the first episode from this location, so kind of
All right.
excited about both. How you
Hell yeah.
doing, brother?
Doing good, doing good.
Uh,
Blazing down a bong here, trying to unwind after the been a hectic freaking week, busy day.
what you got in the bowl?
Some blood moon. It's a moon shadow cross with Colombian.
Very delicious.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that did me good. Needed that. Yeah, it's been a hectic week, man. I'm busy breaking down a bunch of blood moon right now in the one greenhouse, and then in my outdoor, I'm starting to get little bits of bud rot in the Mac 1. So I went and trimmed some of that off. It's just, the past couple of days have been like 90, 95 degrees. It's been hot. And it's going to dip back off and get real cool again. So we'll see how they do. I'm hoping I got rid of the rot in the one plant there. Anything that doesn't spread at all. We're going to have a good look tomorrow morning. If it's still making a move, I might have to bring the whole thing down. It's going to end up being chasing rot for the next week and a half, 2 weeks isn't going to be cool either. So
That
we'll
blood
see.
moon was super tasty. You were nice enough to pass along a little sample of that. And, very tasty stuff there, the blood moon.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the moon shadow crossed with Colombian. Basically, the moon shadow is like my version of a purple haze, and Colombian basically being a skunk Colombian cross is like a silver haze. So it's like a purple haze and silver haze mashed together.
Super tasty. Was that from the greenhouse?
Yes, it was. That was about I think it was about 2 month cure on that one. That was from earlier in the year.
Super delicious. Um, so the Moon Shadow's been out for release now for some time, right?
Actually, I don't believe it's available anymore. The seeds I have are old. I took it off the menu. I'm not making any more. But I don't have the parents anymore to it. So basically just messing with prodigy of it now. I still have one growing, the same one I've had growing for years. I've been growing the same moon shadow, but I've been whittling down my plants. That's probably going to be on the chopping block soon here. I'm going to move forward, just take the blood moon and keep going forward with that one. I haven't, like I said, the seeds might pop. I haven't popped. I haven't even tried any of them in about 4 or 5 years. I took them off the menu a few years ago because they were already about 5 years old then. So now they're probably pushing 8 years old now. I'm sure. I mean, they keep in good conditions. They'll probably pop, but I just once usually my stock gets 5 years, I just discontinue it altogether. And if I didn't make more of it, then it just comes off the menus altogether. So, um,
What was what was it about her that made you decide to cross the Colombian with her?
I want the soaring hazy high, the real had a super terpy, sticky profile to it that it does not wash. The moon shadow I could not wash at all. Couldn't get any kind of hash off when I washed it, but made loads of hydrocarbon extract, loads of shatter off of that back in the day. It was really good stuff. The Colombian, on the other hand, it dumps hash. Got big resin heads that fall off freely. I was trying to get a little more mashup of that. The pheno I have is all moon shadow when it comes to the stickiness. There's none of the resin heads are falling off. You don't have like a bunch of keef in the bottom of your bag. It's all stuck to the bud. It's like it's just the way it is. So that one didn't work. I gotta pop some more of them and see if I can't find one that mixes a little better. But now I've crossed that back to the Colombian again. So I've taken the blood moon and crossed it back to the Colombian. I have got to get some of the seeds in the ground. I think that might be what I'm looking for, really. So it's a matter of me getting off my ass and planting some more of the seeds.
That's the blood moon right there. Super beautiful, super dense. Nice. Very enjoyable. Does give me a little bit of a hint of like a wine, like a fine wine almost to the nose. Delicious.
Yeah, also, I mean, anyone that's you put in orders in genetics supply and you buy Norstar gear this month, I'm giving out, you get a 2-pack of pre-roll cones of Blood Moon. Same exact barrel you got that bud from right there.
Right.
So anyone wants to give it a try. I've been smoking them while I've been trimming. Your hands get all sticky and you can't be messing with a bowl and shit. So
That's pretty awesome. I like that idea, to be honest with you. Not only you get some seeds there, but actually get something that the creator, envisioned himself or grew himself.
yeah, and I mean, we sold clones of that same plant this spring. I'll probably bring back some clones again this winter and the spring again for the same plant, so you can sample it, grow it yourself, and then see if you can grow it better than I can. I had the one guy come in with I was smoking some Darkwood. And I put a picture of it up and everything, and he commented he grew some Darkwood too. His looked better than mine. It was the same clone. That was great. I think it was indoor though.
That age-old argument, which is better, the indoor, outdoor, greenhouse. So is the greenhouse the fine in between of the two?
For me, it is. Yeah, I think for one, it's more cost effective than running lights and all kinds of shit inside. The sun does a great job. I mean, potent ass buds. The problem I have with outdoor in general is the environment that it's in. Dust in the air, all kinds of shit gets all over your plant. In the greenhouse, I have HEPA filters in the greenhouse, so it's really air running through them. It keeps it nice and clean in there. I don't have a bunch of dusty buds. Because it'd be inevitable. Like my neighbor all of a sudden decides he's going to go ahead and mow his whole freaking backyard down and make a big dust storm, middle of September. It's like, God, cut me a break. So have it in the greenhouse at least gives me the same kind of like indoor environment to where it's clean air running through it. It does get hotter. It's usually in the 80s in there. And the fans kick on, but you go in the greenhouse, the fans going full tilt and the sun outside, and you're sucking in air that's 85 degrees. It's not going to be any cooler than 85 degrees. So it's just hot air moving through it. But that's about it. You got to select certain plants. You can't just put anything in there. Something that's prone to mold or real big buds, real thick ones. They get mold out in the middle from the heat. They get a little bit of moisture in the middle of the bud. So, and dehumidifiers and things like that still to keep it good at nighttime. Indoor, I think though it definitely looks prettier. And some strains definitely, I feel like they deliver a better terpene profile indoors. They have some certain strains are brighter or more defined the flavors to them. I think the sun and the excess heat maybe melts off some of the finer nuances of certain strains. So once again, it's about picking something. I find like the lemon stuff and the cheese dominant type flavors, the pine, they do well in the sun and the heat. Some of the fruits and some of the grapier ones kind of I feel like they almost get burned out and turn to like mud in the sun somewhat. But
what is your opinion on temperature in cannabis? We've always been trained, oh, no, we got to keep it low, temperatures, air conditioners. But you get in conditions outdoor, beautiful bud, green.
oh yeah,
You're saying 85. You don't see that, fluffy bud. These buds are dense as hell.
oh
You
yeah.
know
No.
what I mean?
Some of that still having the right strains. Certain strains that they've been bred indoors for years, and maybe that's what they're used to growing out. I think a lot of that comes from indoor bred seeds that come from Holland from years ago, being bred that when you bring them out here, you put it like an old Northern Lights. You probably had a lot of mold problems bringing it out here, sticking it out some old Northern Lights crosses they were making in Holland back in the day, or other skunk crosses they were making back in the day. It's all indoor production pretty much, so they weren't breeding any kind of resistance and heat resistance to plants out there. Indoor, I usually keep it like 78 to 80 indoors. I know people run it hotter with CO2 production, get bigger buds with the extra CO2, and you run a little hotter temperatures and stuff. But indoors pretty much just a little bit of head stash. I like to pheno hunt stuff indoors, large runs, seed runs and things, so I can control everything a little better.
Right on. With that being said, I mean, because I've talked a lot about breeding indoors, and I kind of like breeding out of stuff like you're talking about, like not heat pressures and stuff. If constant indoor breeding was going to weaken cannabis in the long run. So, yeah. So, sorry, I kind of squirreled there a little bit.
No, I don't know how much. I don't know if it'll weaken it too much. I mean, I think the cannabis genome itself is pretty resilient. I don't think from just a 50-year span here, 80-year span we've been breeding cannabis indoors is going to have that much effect on it. If I'm still alive 5,000 years from now, we'll talk about it if it's really affected things. But I mean, I don't think it's going to change that much that quick. So with that being said, that how the change of cannabis has taken place in the past couple decades, a lot of different, from selective breeding, you have a lot of changes, and I think part of that too is I'm not sure of any other plant that has this many individuals all over the world picking on breeding projects trying to do things with this plant. I mean, is there 20, 30,000 people doing homegrown breed tomatoes everywhere, bugging out about trading tomato seeds going? I mean, there's a couple companies out there, but nothing like cannabis companies. My goodness, everybody's trying to make something. So you have a lot more people working. Maybe things will happen quicker.
It's kind of funny though. You see now with more and more people growing mushrooms and breeding mushrooms. Will it slow down, or will it slow down the breeding in cannabis? Will people, diversify their, their interests, or will it even, do you think it will help? Can you take things obviously from one from the other, notes and breeding?
Your some practices and cleanliness and things like that for sure, what you're doing, but I mean, they're obviously different plant species. I mean, everything's totally different, so not really much parallel between the two as far as growing them. I don't see. I think the main reason people are moving over there because they see it as a chance to make more money. The market, for the most part, it's a newer opening market in places and less competition, so more people are crowding into it. Everyone's trying to find a way to make a buck off of being on social media and everything, I think. And
definitely a new definitely needed space for people to grow. You know what I mean? It's a new niche that needs to be explored. It's nice to see people like Tanaze's Garden actually taking it super serious on like taking proper notes as he goes along. That's one thing is cannabis in its early days, we weren't allowed to take notes, or we took a big risk in taking notes when what we were doing, what we were growing and stuff. So it's nice to be able to see that we can learn and document our stuff these days.
For sure. I mean, when I lived in New Jersey and I grew, no one knew that I grew other than my wife. My best friends thought my bomb ass pot was coming from California from somebody I met in my honeymoon. They thought I was buying the shit from California and shipping it in. No one at all knew my fucking stash was my homegrown. You're too paranoid to tell anybody. Even your best friend comes over and you're smoking. Oh, that's your soapbox. Can I get something? Yeah, I got some for you. Blah blah blah. Where'd you get? Oh, I got this dude I met in my honeymoon in Jamaica. He lives out in California. Him and his wife, and we picked some shit up from them. Otherwise, I got 2 400-watt lights in my little back garage closet room back there growing stuff. He was just too paranoid to tell anybody.
That's one of those double-edged swords right there. It is a huge relief these days to be able to do things legally, but in the same aspect, it has made things a little less exciting, if you will.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
What you working with?
I couldn't tell my mom I was grown because she would smoke me out of house and home. She has her tolerance is through the fucking roof. So if I told her like grew pot, she'd be expecting her son Ozer like an ounce every week. So I couldn't tell mom the most expensive shit, mom. You won't be buying this. I couldn't grow enough for my mom to smoke, man. She doesn't even smoke now. It's funny.
How come she don't smoke these days?
She has a little vape pen she hits once in a while. That's about it, really. But I don't know.
I always wonder that, you know, because I know a few people that has quit over the years, and I know some people that's quit and will refuse to smoke these days because it says nowadays it gets them too fucked up or gives them anxiety, and then I can't figure.
I mean, I know my uncle. He stopped for a while because he was a Scientologist, so he stopped smoking for a little while. But that's, I don't know, that's gone to the wayside or something because he's in the middle of harvesting 99 plants right now in Pennsylvania. And actually, my grandmother and my dad both down there helping trim the plants.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. I wish I was down there for that. That'd have been good times. My grandmother's had helped me trim plants here before. She's actually pretty good at trimming.
That would be a trip.
She doesn't like smoking though.
What was the first time? What was your first age you smoked with your parents?
Let me see. I guess I was how old was I in 8th grade? And then after that, how old are you when you're a freshman? Like 15 when you're a freshman, I guess, in high school?
Somewhere around
there. Yeah, in 8th grade, I got busted smoking pot. I stole my dad's pot and I went to a class camping trip. And I was rolling up joints and I was smoking with a friend there. We got busted by one of the chaperones was a state trooper, one of the parents. And he smelled the shit and tracked us down in the woods and busted us. But then I didn't rap. I said I bought from some kid I saw in high school, a neighbor. I said I bought from him, blah blah, and didn't rat my dad out for the stash or anything. So that was like the following year. After my parents, that was in the middle of my parents' divorce and all kinds of shit. And like my dad had moved to a different house, and then eventually I was visiting my dad at his new house. I believe it was the following year, so it was over past the summer. It was in the freshman year, and he's got on the porch to smoke a joint. He's like, "You want some?" He's like, "Shit, you." And I just had got a freshman year this summer. I just got a tattoo. He goes, "You're from a fucking alleyway tattoo shop down in Ocean City, New Jersey. Like, not even a shop, like it's in a person's house, a tattoo machine and shit." He's like, "Well, shit, you're old to have a tattoo. You're old to smoke a fucking joint." So. Yeah, I was 15 or 16, and I was pretty sure it's 15, but yeah. I just lost your audio.
I didn't smoke with my dad for the first time till I was 23. And still was paranoid like it was a trick.
Now, my dad recently, well, this was like 7 or 8 years ago. My dad moved from West Virginia out here and lived with me for a while. Helped me with gardening and trimming and everything, and going to shows and everything like that. And then he's 2 doors down was my kid's preschool teacher. He shacked up with her, and they just went back and bought a house in New Jersey. And he went back to New Jersey recently. But he was out here for a while helping out. Pretty cool when your parents kind of get involved with your cannabis stuff a little bit.
I agree.
Felt less like a black sheep.
Yeah, that smoking with my dad definitely opened up some doors for me. Cannabis was a weird thing with me and my family. You know, I was used to him, you know, always selling weed when I was a kid, but we was never really talked about. It was just always around. And then I ended up getting kicked out of the house, 15, rolling some weed that he had stole from my dad. He didn't know how to roll it, so he had brought it to me, and my dad had come in, and I'm rolling up the joint. So I had, like a good brother, just took the heat and got my ass kicked the fuck out. But yeah, it's weird how cannabis has evolved with him. After smoking with him the first time, I became the caregiver after that, not too long after that. So he ended up, getting a whole lot of weed from me till the day he died, actually.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so it was nice to see like the changing of the guard there, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I can remember 12 years old going to my grandparents' house, crawling in there, A-frame house, with like little crawl spaces on the side up in the bedroom area, the crawl space in the attic. I was looking for Christmas presents, but they were out. Going in the attic, and it's all lined with tinfoil, and there's a shabby little plant growing there under like incandescent lights. My grandfather growing some swaggy ass little plant. Never forget that. Because I was even younger than that, we used to have them growing in the backyard and out in the regular vegetable garden at my house. We drag them down to the yard and hang up in the basement to dry and everything. Yeah, it was back in the I was back in the 80s. And then it's pretty nuts. Time's flying by, man.
It is, man.
I guess it was not that long, about 10 years ago when he came out here to visit me in California before he passed. He came out here and we smoked again out here. I smoked with my grandfather out here, and my shit was just way too strong for him. He was just coughing. He couldn't smoke, couldn't handle it. Basically, he preferred to smoke the duff from my vaporizer at that point. Like the leftovers after I vaporized it. I asked that. I was like, "Can I have that? I'll smoke that." I'm like, "Really?" It's like, "That's plenty for me." I'm like, "Okay." So I started saving my duff for him. I sent him some. I use the vaporizer a lot, and I used to send him some of that. And he didn't even decide he stopped smoking altogether. And then then at the same time, my uncle started growing again, so he started supplying it because they live a lot closer. So
Right.
that was pretty.
So, you want to tell me a little bit about some of these seeds you sent me here? What's is this
Got to remind me what I sent you.
this is
You can read my handwriting.
yeah, I can't. What is it? My eyes are actually getting bad.
Grenoble, Zod, Phantom, Zora, something.
Is it General Zad?
Oh,
Something? Banner.
yeah, General Zod. That's the dude from Superman. Bad dude.
Nice.
That's Phantom Zone. Cross with what's that cross to?
3D.
The third dimension. All right, yeah. So the Phantom Zone is Apollo cross with Alcatraz, and it's got the Apollo structure. I mean the Alcatraz bud structure, but loads of Apollo flavor. It's even got nice spear shaped buds on it, so it's like an Apollo OG. Next cross that to the 3D, which is fairly Apollo leaning. Should be pretty nice.
That 3D that you sent me was delicious, man. What a throwback. And to be honest with you, that was very tasty. I did
Right on.
not taste nothing lemony in a while. I think that's one of the ones that well, at least here in Michigan, you don't see a lot of any kind of lemon-based strains. I miss them myself. Very uplifting, tasty.
Yeah, they're good.
So will that one be available?
Well, they're all going test. They're all in testing right now. That stuff. So all those seeds I sent you, if everything goes well, a lot of them are looking probably February, March before any of them start coming around.
Nice. What about what is it? Chansey?
Lon Chaney. That's the
Okay.
guy that played the werewolf in the Universal Werewolf movies. That's the Blood Moon cross with Third Dimension.
The Blood Moon's super tasty.
So that, I mean, you're going to have a little more citrus tossed into there. The Third Dimension brings the flowering time down, both a nice sativa edge. So they'll have you barking at the moon like a werewolf, probably.
And then we got, what is this? Just the Goo? Is it the Goo?
No, I don't think so. I'm not trying to remember what I sent. I don't have anything written down for anything, so. Hold up, I may be able to decipher it. That's just okay. That's no name on that. That's Goo Hawaiian times Third Dimension. I don't have a name for that yet. The Goo Hawaiian was a clone from Gooey. He sent me super pineapple-y, rangy sativa. It lengths out. It's like an octopus. It's going all over the place. It branches out and just keeps going all over. real nice, real nice, happy, smiley buzz to it. Does great outdoors, and yeah, it's a super sweet pineapple-y type smells to it. It's wonderful.
Sounds wonderful. So, as well as the other things you sent there, you did send some seeds to pass out along to the weed nerds, which I thought was completely awesome of you. And yeah, I can't wait to start passing them out, as well as an amazing stack of posters here, which these are fucking cool. I couldn't believe that you were nice enough to pass these along.
Well, I had bought a case of 5,000 of them when I was the rep in California. I used to sell all the seeds, all dispensaries in California for TGA. So I used to give them out to the shops, and we bring them to shows and stuff. And I just happened to have a shitload of them sitting around still. I've been giving them out and everything else like that on the website and everything with orders and so forth. But yeah, give them out with some give them out with some seeds. Weed nerds have a good time with it for sure.
Most definitely, we'll make sure they'll get passed out to some weed nerds. 100%. Some amazing strains too. The Purgatory, Sangria, and the Astro Snaps. You know, I sent the Sangria around when you passed me some, the Agent Orange, the Jelly Bean, and the Sangria. And the Sangria was well received everywhere it went. So I know there's a lot of people out there that will probably be hoping that another round of those come their way. 100%.
That uses my my vintner's mom. I mean, that thing is just like great bubblegummy sweet candy. And so they mix that with the dude, and you have all kinds of just bright fruity flavors just jumping out off of that thing. And that in the vintner's is quite a I mean, nice, gives it long sativa arms of bud and stuff. So it should really be a good yielders with them. I've never grown any of them, so I don't know what they look like. But personally, I mean, I've seen pictures of them. I haven't seen any like in my hands. But the
Sangria was beautiful. I grew that out initially when it was new to the menus, you know, testing / new to the menu, and was super pleased with what I received there. One of the most pretty flowers I had grown in a long time, and a very unique terpene profile, which I think, you know, people breed these days so much for hype, and I think they get away from, you know, just the beauty of making something special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one thing I think people used to love about mainly sub strains, you know, the dang TGA flavors where they stood out. You know what I mean? When people came around, when I was able enough to be able to vendor here in Michigan, where you could caregiver and sit at a table, hand
Mhm.
your jars all out. I would literally watch people go from table to table. Hmm, hmm, hmm. And they would every time they got to my table, they go, hmm, hmm, yes, please. And it was always because it was, unique and different from what everybody else had. And I think people miss that about cannabis. Too many people are trying to breed with, just hype times hype so they can put that name on a pack versus, chasing something beautiful.
Yeah. A lot of it too much is based on what it looks like too. I think it just comes the prettiest pictures are like, oh, that's the best looking pheno. Everyone on Instagram loves that one. It looks great. Like, wait, well, none of them are smoking. They're looking at it. don't pick a pace on their selection. Smoke all of them. Find the one that smokes the best. That's the one you want to keep, if any of them. you know. Sometimes the prettiest one isn't the best. I mean, at the same time, you can take something that doesn't look pretty but smokes good, and that gives you a lot of extra work because you're trying to all of a sudden just get that one feature, the flavor out of it, which you might get some of that in your next generation you're making, but you might also introduce a bunch of lankiness or some other larfy bullshit that you didn't want because you're selecting based on flavor alone. So I've done that before. I've selected something just on the flavor or just strictly on the high, and the outcrosses from it have been something that just needed a lot more work still. It's like, all right, so then I outcross that, and the outcross is going to turn into like another 5 generations of work of stuff to get something that's actually worth, bragging about a good strain. So sometimes you pick one strain for just one feature, you can really pin yourself into a lot of work to try to get something that's worth bragging about. So ideally, you want to try to find something that's might have that great unique flavor and everything, but still be a solid plant. If you find a flavor and it's just in the one larf you plant, just plant a bigger selection. Try to find that same unique flavor again with something that has a little bit more body to it or a better buzz or something, because you get caught chasing just one feature, you can waste a lot of time.
So that brings up
Oh,
a kind of a
plant.
curious
Okay.
little question for you. I was watching
Yes.
this thing the other day, and they were talking about flushing of the plant or different ways, of flushing, limiting nutrients, flipping them a little bit earlier for smaller plants and not having to feed them as much. It was different. They threw out a bunch of different scenarios here. But one thing, and I've noticed this myself, but are we risking more quality and potency trying to shoot for bigger yields?
Definitely, if selections during breeding are based strictly on the yield, they're not actually taking the equilibrium of everything and trying to find the biggest yield that also has the best flavor and smoke and potency along with it, not just selecting for the one trait. I can see where a lot of production value can be gained in just breeding for the. I remember there was one plant that was back in the day that had like the what the hell was it? Oh, some Canadian clone they were trying to sell. It had all these extra bud sites. It's supposed to be like it had these huge like soda bottle buds, and it was like this $10,000 pot. But the plant looked like it had no crystals on it. It looked like a big, huge soda bottle bud that was like nothing. Like so what? It's a huge bud that has no crystals on it. Um, I don't think. I mean, you need to go that extreme if anyone's trying to breed for bigger yields. There's definitely you can stay within the margins of having big yielding plants that are still good, still potent, still tasty for sure. I just think you just can't get rabbit hole yourself and just keep exactly like I said. You can't just chase one trait. You could definitely damage the rest of what you're working on by just chasing the one trait.
Yeah, I'd seem to at least the strains that I've noticed that are my biggest yielders. I've always just lacked that super punch to them. So I've kind of I don't know. I've always kind of found that myself. You know.
Well, that's just where you keep your biggest yield. You still have it for yield production. You hang on to that, and you hunt some more stuff and try to find a really, really potent plant and look for that similar male counterpart to try to impart that into that big bud. And is that somewhere along the line, try to find a happy medium where maybe it's not quite as big as the big bud, but it's a lot better or a lot stronger.
I mean, when it comes to yield, I mean, should it be a thing? Is that even a factor? I mean, is that just a plant count thing? You know what I mean? In a perfect world, I mean, would we
I
just be chucking a shitload of seeds and clones out there, and we wouldn't be trying to
I guess
study?
if you have real limited plant numbers, it could be a plant number thing. If like you're only allowed to have 2 plants and you need to make edibles or something, and you're trying to stick within the log, I can see then having an issue with trying to make sure you have a big yield or figuring out how you can get the most out of that 2 plants. It's still going to take you X amount of time to grow those 2 plants, process it, and then the time frame between your next harvest, if you're gonna have enough to last you that long. If that's the reason you need the bigger yield, then yes, you're gonna need a yield so you can last your harvest will last you to your next harvest. But I don't see that being an issue in most people's plant numbers or anything, or for that matter, how much they stick to the plant numbers. I mean, they say you can have 6, so you have 10 plants growing. Well, Christ, if you can't make 10 plants last from harvest to harvest, you're doing something wrong, probably. I only see it being if you're trying to sell it to make money off of it. You're growing just for yourself. Probably 6 plants. If you can't put in an indoor shit, even a 4x4 with 6 plants in it, pump that sucker full and harvest that, and you can't make that last till the next harvest, you're either smoking like Snoop Dogg or I don't know, you're selling half of it or something. So if you really just need to stay within your limits, you pretty much can do it. Almost any state now it's legal to grow and stick within the plant number and still have plenty to grow. I think yield's not really that important when it comes to you pick for your best quality and you fill that tent up still, and you're gonna have plenty of yield in there to last you.
So this 1985, is that on the menu?
No, that's from a Golden Child run I did, just a one-time run in a greenhouse late a late fall run. I mean, I think I harvested that like right before Christmas. Just small little batches of seeds. That's something I just to hunt through for myself. And I planted some that. The pheno came up was really excellent. Just reminded me, it was a really good mix of the cheese and the Oaxacan. Because that there is a Oaxacan Colombian cross, and it's crossed back to the cheese.
Nice.
Cheese times Golden Child.
The Oaxacan was a nice strain right there. Uva was a good strain. I grew that one out too, and man, that thing grew out donkey dicks. Straight up donkey dicks.
I think back of them, so I can hook you up with some of them for sure. For sure.
I could see, well, basically what I'm getting to is I could see why you'd want to cross or work with that one there too, because it did seriously big buds. What are you smoking on? You still smoking
I'm
on?
deciding. I smoked a little Blood Moon earlier. I got some. I just smoked on the dark wood. I think I'm going for a bong load of Mac 1 this time.
What is it? You as a breeder, what draws you to the Mac 1?
Well, I tell you what, actually, for as much as I every kind of hype stuff, I'm not interested in cookies and all. This has actually really good flavor. The buzz is for me is not. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be too like narcotic, locky. It's pretty chill, relaxed. I smoke in the evening. It's not upbeat like sativa, like get you going and stuff, but it definitely has a nice mellow body vibe. Feels good. I gotta say, for as super frosty and as nasty looking as it, chunky frosty look, it's I would think it'd be like, whoa, man, blow me away, but it's not that, doesn't seem to be that strong for sure. I mean, I can smoke a bunch of it and just chill with it. So it's not like it's a day wrecker, but it's tasty. It has a really pleasant, mellow, chill vibe to it. It grows. Veg is really slow in veg. You know, clones are little squat little suckers that take a while to grow and all, but once it gets going, it's good. I don't keep it to make seeds with because it's shitty for making seeds. It's really bad for making seeds. I've tried giving it a head start by a few weeks. I have more flower going. It just doesn't take pollen that way. I'm lucky to get 40 seeds, 50 seeds on a plant. So I really don't. I just don't even bother with it now. I just plant some of those seeds for myself to see if I get anything interesting out of it. But it throws down a good yield. That's lots of solid buds. It's super easy to trim too. It's probably the quickest thing to trim I have. Just you can snip off some fan leaves and it's good to go. Pretty much done. It looks good as it is for the most part. My wife enjoys smoking it too, so both of us like smoking it, and it's pretty easy to grow. I mean, doesn't take a lot of support or anything. Solid buds are pretty resilient overall too. I mean, the outdoors here is as big and as solid as they are. A little bit of bud rot I have, I'm surprised. It's not a lot more. I've had plants that have been, thick, big, round buds out there, and they'd been shot from having that couple of rains we had earlier, and then having this 90 degrees and 80 degrees for this past week coming in with extra moisture, and they would have been all rotted to total hell. I mean, the blood moon's still doing pretty good because it's outdoors. It's a little bit. It's not quite as dense as that is. It has a little more room for the moisture to escape out of it a little easier. It's a little pointier leaves, not nearly as much leaf matter. The Mac 1 is like super leafy, bushy with the buds in it everywhere and just gathers lots of moisture, but it really fends off the elements well. So it's a good grower too. I lost the audio. Where are you?
Damn it. Different
There you are.
I had to switch mics earlier there. I keep muting it with the different mute there. So trimmability is one of my top 3 selection factors there. So what's your easiest trimmable strain?
The Mac 1 for sure.
Well, out of yours, not in your garden, out of yours.
Out of my work, I say right now, Bunuelos is really, really easy for me to trim out of what I'm growing. The dark wood, the blood moon I've been trimming, that's pretty easy too. I selected easy trimmers this year for the most part. The dark wood might be the most trim out of. It's got the most bit of leaf lip, but it's still not much. Probably the dark wood, I'd say. It's got the chunkiest buds. I mean, when you get a big bud and you snip it, it's done quick because they're big. Less smaller stuff.
As far with that trimmability kind of in mind is something that is more leafy. Do you find them to be your more terpene or more loud strains? We've always kind of say like looseness is kind of a factor. You know what I mean? I find that to be a factor in super loud cannabis. But is it, you know what I mean? A super dense, not something like we're talking about, you ain't hardly got to trim it. Is that less loud than something that's, you got to trim the hell out of? Got lots of sugar leaf to it.
Like when I open the jar of Mac 1, it's Mac 1 and it's loud right in your face. And the same as with, Bunuelos or 1985 for that matter. You can smell it right away. You know what it is. It's sharp. It's there. And they're totally different as far as leafiness. Excuse me. No, I don't think there's any correlation to that. I mean, I've grown plants that have been leafier that are not that pungent or loud. Within the same batch, I've had have something that's different pheno. One is louder, one is not as stanky. And I don't think I haven't noticed any difference with the leafiness of it making any difference for the most part. I think that's more the indica sativa type of more plant morphology than so much the genetics going towards the production of plant terpenes or anything else.
So, what are some of the traits in plants that you look for in terps? You know what I mean? Is for louder terps or higher terpene production? Is it just a selection? This one's the loudest, or is there something in the plant that you notice early on that bud structure, like we're talking about, something like that?
Usually the ones that are loud usually have earlier resin production. You'll see them appear to be, putting on trichomes earlier in other plants for sure. But it just comes down to just literally sniffing the plants. Which ones are more, which ones are stinkier? Definitely take note throughout too, because sometimes plants kind of change their smells as they get older. They kind of develop different smells. So you might want to take notes of different times you've harvested your different plants. So, if you harvest it earlier, it might have a sharper lemon smell. You can take it later, that molds into a more earthier smell, possibly, kind of depending on what the strains are sometimes.
So you find that to be on more of a harvesting time thing than cure. Now I noticed obviously when you get that in your curing time, but is that something that you can harvest?
Certain terps are brighter, and they seem less so. Like as it gets older, if you go past the ripeness, they start to degrade them. So there's flavors that degrade on the plant earlier. I think it's different from when they're actually dried in a container away from the sun. I think when you get to a point where they start to degrade, they lose their protection from the sun. UV rays are hitting them and everything. At least, maybe possibly, depending on what kind of lights you have too, you might have different kind of degradation on your trichomes as well.
When it comes to the jarring or the curing side of it, I've always kind of just thought of that as a gym bag-like effect. You know what I mean? Sooner or later, everything in your gym bag smells like socks or whatever. I think that's just because plants a fibrous material. Sooner or later, all those terpenes come together and it just smells like a whole new.
Definitely. Some things definitely more so than others. I think that's to do with the amount of different terpenes that are in your profile. If you get them tested, if there's less diversity in terpenes, you probably have less of a muddled effect at the end. If you have strictly just, if all you have is lemon terpene and pine terpene, and you don't have a bunch of myrcene and lavender smells on camphor and shit like that, might stay cleaner at the end. You might still pick up lemon and pine, but it might evolve a little. It might still be lemon and pine. It won't turn into just like you said, like a gym bag full of musky stuff. At the same time, when they're fresh, though, all them flavors are bright. You hints of them all. Like, it happens with a lot of OGs. You have really good OGs, and then go back to that jar 2 years later, like, oh, what the fuck is this? So because the OG has lots of different flavors popping out at you when they're fresh and they're bright and they're 1 month in the cure or whatever, and all the flavors are hopping off right there. But when they get old, I think they get funky for sure.
Have you incorporated anything new into the garden this year?
As
far as
practice, not right, just
or input or anything like that?
I got one for you. The greenhouse I'm harvesting out of right now. I originally planned that just for a hash run. The whole thing was going to go right to hash. I wasn't going to bother with it. But then, like I said, half my greenhouse was blood moon, and it makes shitty hash. I'm like, this doesn't make good hash. I don't know what to do with this anyway. I'll see how. I'll make a hash out of it whatever, and I'll just make butter out of the rest of it or something. I was gonna have this kid come over and Real California Herbs, a guy I met out in Reno Parker area. He was gonna run a lot of material for me, but I didn't feel like sending him over with I had 9 plants in there, 9 plants of material that's super sticky and gives you no hash, and have him make hash for me. It'd be kind of shitty of me to send him a whole bunch of stuff thinking all this crystally shit, and he's gonna have a real low yield because it's hard getting any of the material off of it. It doesn't want to strip off. And California now for hydrocarbon extractions is all kinds of licensing. It's hard to find, I think, people to process because it's hard to get the gas process with. So that's difficult to find. That's what it really needs to be processed. So anyway, I didn't really take much care of the greenhouse. I planted it out. I didn't do much pruning out of it. Let it go natural. Didn't bother with it. Just put all the clones in there. And then I guess it was about 3 weeks after planting them, and they were getting about, I don't know, 10 inches high, a foot tall or so. I went in there and just used my regular fertilizer I have from the garden organic tomato vegetable garden fertilizer. And I gave them a big heap of dose around the top and scratched it all in. And I watered them all in and I burnt them all. And they all got like a little bit burnt in the tips. Like, that was some strong shit. What the fuck are you giving me that for? About 2 weeks later, they popped out of that, and then I hadn't fed them since, but they beasted after that. They grew like tomato plants, just boom, just straight up, just loved it. I was did do nothing at all to them. This was no freaking fertilizing to them. Just put them on a drip timer. I gave them water every day and a dehumidifier, and that was it. Minimal freaking work, and they came out beautiful. Just as good as the ones that I was, top dressing and pruning all out and everything else. Obviously, I have more fluff when these books. I didn't prune out the lower stuff. I just let it go. But I mean, the buds on top look freaking beautiful. I didn't do anything extra. Just organic garden fertilizer right from the store, things that I put my tomatoes with and all, and they just ate it all up and just super cheap. I mean, I spent like $10 fertilizing the whole fucking thing, maybe. So that was a big win. Just no effort and beautiful product still. So I was happy with that.
Overall, it seemed like it was a good year for outdoor cannabis this year. Got nice weather into the fall season so far, so good. I mean, here in Michigan, you could still have plants out. If you're willing to kind of gamble it, it's going to get cold and be frosty soon, but I mean, it could be happening right now. But overall, a good year. Is that what you experienced out there in California?
Yeah, we had out here in Sonoma County where I'm at, it was I'd say a little bit cooler than normal, which was good. I mean, average was like 80 degrees during the day.
That's nice.
And that's like for a few hours in the middle of the day, but we start in the morning off, it's like 56, 50, 57, and it slowly warms into the 60s and into the 70s throughout the day. So it's nice and cool most of the day. Really nice. And just for a few peak hours, we hit into the 80s usually, and as it cooled back down, it was dry. But then we started getting a little more moisture earlier than we usually get, because usually I don't get any kind of rain at all until like it starts getting like Halloween is like almost guaranteed to get something on Halloween. But this year, I mean, we had 3 weeks ago or so, we had about a half inch come down. Maybe 2 weeks ago. Surprised. It was the earliest we've had rain here for quite a few years. So I'm sure some people got panicky about that.
We had a brutal rain yesterday as far as that goes. I didn't bring that up. Yeah. I seen some of Smiley's plants that got pretty beat up from the rain. We got it came down in weird heavy bursts yesterday, at least up here in northern Michigan. And downstate, I hear it was terrible down there. So, Yes, the weather might have been great, but now that you mentioned that, we may have lost quite a few with yesterday's rain.
Oh
Because it
yeah,
was brutal rain, yeah.
you're starting to get some cool temperatures at night. You're gonna have some mold ones to come creeping out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think we're gonna be heading some cool weather next couple of days here. So as long as we don't get any rain, everything should be fine. Hopefully, throughout the following week after that, it'll be nice. I like to finish getting my greenhouse harvest and not have to worry about mold outside and stuff. So got my fingers crossed for good weather coming up, and got a lot of shit to worry about. I've been I got my peahen's kind of sick. I think she's got a intestinal thing or something. So I'm trying to get her to a vet tomorrow, and it's just difficult. I have to kind of try to round up my bird out of her cage out there. She doesn't like to be in touch, so I gotta corral her into the corner and try to get her into a carrier. We'll see. She's not feeling so hot. She's not moving too quick. She's kind of slow. I can probably grab her if I needed to, but
Did you, what kind of chickens? What kind of hen?
it's a peafowl. It's a female peacock.
Oh, no shit.
The boy I lost right before Christmas, he got attacked by a bobcat and killed. So I'm right now trying to find her some mates. She's kind of depressed too. That's the thing. For the past like couple months, she's kind of been moping around a little bit, kind of like not so interested in doing as much as she used to. I'm like kind of depressed. I mean, she went all summer like crowing, looking for attention. I kept stealing her eggs, and then now she's not laying eggs. She's like, I went the whole year and had no mate came around, no eggs. And she's all by herself in her pen. So I'm trying to find her some company again. It's the time of year to get them because the boys have lost their feathers, so I can actually get one into a carrier and bring it home. It's just I'm trying to find one that's close by. I don't feel like driving 3 hours to go find her somebody, but I want to have to. It looks like it. But then the past, like I said, the past week, she's kind of like been real finicky and not real, kind of like letting me get too close to her. It's not like acting like she normally does. And she's kind of the past couple of days not been eating hardly anything at all. So I know she's sick. So I made an appointment with the vet. Just took a stool sample into the vet for her. And I'll be bringing her in. But I think she's got a protozoa. It's in a gut called a blackhead. It's a like a waterborne thing in her stomach. She's got from an anaerobic protozoa. I think that's what it is. The way she's acting and everything. And it's just some medication to take care of that. But I have to get it in prescription. I can't get it anywhere else. I think if I lived outside of California, I could probably get it online because I've seen a couple places that have it do not ship to California. So I have to go through the vet, and then if it's a worm, intestinal parasite issue, like a worm or something, I have a dewormer for her, but I don't want to treat her with that unless that's what she has. So I'm taking her to the vet to get it confirmed. It's a whole big process, but the big thing is I need to find her a boyfriend is what I need because she's lonely. And I tell you what, when you got back and you smoke a joint, and he's busy showing off for her with his feathers doing his shit. It's fucking a blast to watch.
Will she take on a new mate like that? Some animals, some birds like that, are basically lovebirds, if they lose their mate, then
Peacock, the male, he likes to have like 2 or 3 at least. He prefers to
yeah.
have several. Yeah. And they get territorial during mating season. They'll get to the point where they'll be busy trying to battle each other if you have 2 boys because they want to get all the hens for themselves. So you got to keep just one male and like 1 or 2 females, and he'll be constantly showing off his feathers all the time, doing his dance and just happy as hell. And the girls would be blowing him off half the time, but then just still laying eggs. And you got to either collect the eggs or you're going to sell the eggs, or you're going to have baby peacocks because you can't get them fixed or anything. So
Right.
we actually, the eggs are great for making pasta with. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Like the size of almost like the size of 3 eggs, and the yolk's a little bit bigger than a regular yolk. It's like I'd say 60% of the egg instead of like 40% of the egg. So it's a really yolky, so it's really fatty. You add that to your homemade pasta. Oh my god, it makes a good pasta.
I would have never even thought to eat one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're good eating.
Right on. Right on. I would have never thought. Never thought.
Yeah, you can eat peacock eggs. They're good.
Right
You got
on.
to appetite because they're big. It's like 3 eggs. So it's a good it's a good size. 1 egg makes an omelet.
I learned something today. Yeah, I would have thought, no, yeah. Just like, yeah. I've never really thought about eating too many other eggs than chicken eggs, to be honest with you. But why not, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get them for the eggs. I got them just because I always wanted peacocks, and I thought it'd be awesome to have peacocks. The guy locally had them for sale, so I got them, and I don't know, they're awesome. I love having them now.
Something pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
So
But
what are you working with in the garden now? What will be the next? Is that the testers that I got? Or are you working with breeding something new?
I have all my new tester lines I have right now in works are a 3D line, a whole new Colombian line I'm working with. Super Funk, which is UK cheese crossed to the Alcatraz. Real nice, cheesy, funky male of that. What else do I got going? And 1985, I have a male 1985 that I used. I have a nice run of that. I'm testing those things there, and they'll be coming out in the spring sometime. Depending on what comes out looking yummy out of these batches.
Did you select hunt and select the UK cheese that you got?
That was I got that from Clone when I first got out here to California a long time ago, 2007.
Right on. Cheese is always good. One of those good for pain strains.
Yeah, for sure. My wife's one of her favorites still, by far. I'm kind of I like it, but I'm starting to like some of the crosses with it a little better than cheese itself. I'm kind of get tired of smoking cheese, but then after you don't smoke it for a while, then you kind of still want to smoke some cheese. So when you do smoke it, you enjoy it. But I think it's because I've smoked so much cheese that I'm just kind of like like a little something with it too now. Like a little cheese and haze or something mixed in with it. I don't know.
Right on. Definitely a good input or part of a strain, though, for sure.
Yeah, it's great for working with for sure. It's solid. I just recently just dropped a bunch of packs of Cell, which is Runts CrossFit Alcatraz. I got like 20 some packs of that limited. Let me see. I got a pack over here. 24 packs of that. That camera's no good for that. Anyway, and right now that is absolutely delicious. And the my greenhouse right now I have an Alcatraz seed run. I just put the males in there on Wednesday, so it was 3 days ago. So the males are chilling in there, getting ready to pollinate the ladies. I have some Cell already in there getting pollinated by Alcatraz again for an Alcatraz back cross using the Cell. I have a select from the Shakespeare, which is OG Kush cross with Deadhead. I selected a really nice one of them. And a couple other new OG crosses that I had selected out of the previous run indoor. They're out there messing with the Alcatraz, along with some of the other ones to build up my supplies of some other seeds that I had. So I'll have some of that stuff coming. Well, I'll be harvesting that stuff not until Christ coming in November. But we actually do have a new Alcatraz menu out now that has some newer stuff, Alcatraz crosses on it. And I guess we'll be adding some newer stuff maybe to a version 2 or volume 2 of it coming sometime in the spring then, I guess, or probably more like in the summer after they just get some testing on it, some of the new stuff in there. But pretty excited about it because all the testers I had from all these little OG project I've been doing with the Cell, Shakespeare OG. I'm trying to what else I had in there. I'm brain fart. I have like four different OG crosses, really solid ones in there, and found a couple of really nice pinos and really tasty. I'm looking forward to actually growing some more of that for head stash. I'm all out of the testers I had already, so I need to get them regrown for head stash. But I also have the plants I re-vegged in the greenhouse going right now, getting ready to be pollinated. So I'm going to get some seeds of them because they're really delicious. I'm trying to double down on that OG with the Alcatraz. Most of it's an Alcatraz back cross, except for the Shakespeare, which is going to be mixed in with the Deadhead. So it's got all kinds of OG stuff and chem stuff mixed in with it. It's going to be a lot more fun, exciting OG stuff coming out this winter. So I'll have to come back on with some of the samples of that, and I'll send some to you. And we can smoke some of that shit when I get the chance to do that for sure. I think you're on mute again.
I am. It's been a while since I've done one of these one-on-ones. I'm a bit rusty, Joel. So Vel Potheads in chat is curious to know, what is your favorite land race strain?
Oh, my favorite land race?
Yeah.
I like the Colombian, Santa Marta Colombian Gold. I like that still. I like dry smokes. I'm not a fan of really the fruity smoke stuff. I can appreciate, the fruity flavors and all, but I don't like, for some reason it seems to me the highs aren't as crisp and clean. And the flavors just don't preserve as long in the jar for me. They get muddied quicker, and I'm just not a big fan of the real fruity stuff for that much. I like more of the dry, earthy, woodsy kind of smoke. So that really hits those tones for me. And the high is pretty electric without, for me, being like paranoia or manic having to go do something. I can be pretty ready to do anything. Like, all right, I'm ready to go do some yard work or go do some artwork or something, play with some shit, build something without being overly, like, I guess, like confused, like lose train of thought, bugging out, like can't move your shit kind of thing. You're still kind of focused enough. It's probably because it's maybe not quite as strong as some other stuff, or maybe it's not as I don't know, not as psychedelic or something, but it definitely doesn't like distract from your focus on what you're trying to do and enjoying at the same time. So I like that a lot. So I seem to be able to be mindful what I'm doing while I'm stoned as hell off of that at the same time. Whereas some of the more hazier shit and all, it's like I'm trying to do a project. I'm forgetting shit everywhere. I'm trying to find something that's in my goddamn pocket and walk around for an hour looking for shit. And it's just like a total clusterfuck. Like I gotta sit the fuck down. I'm a mess. I can't get shit done right now. So it's that kind of thing where it's definitely still functional, which I'm always busy doing something. So I need something that I can still function my day with. That's why I like that for sure.
What's your go-to for like pain, or you know what I mean? What's your set you down, strain?
Oh, I like Basement Jam hash. I go for hash usually when I'm in pain. I go for something strong to start off the bat. But Basement Jam hash is good. Darkwood, I like that. Darkwood hash. For sure. I have my top two picks for pain. When I have Jack the Ripper, I like Jack the Ripper for pain. That's good too. I think the citrus lemon really is good for pain. The lemon terpenes really seem to enhance the pain relief on stuff, I feel like. I don't know whether that's some of that synergistic effect or there's actually some kind of real other effects to it. Damn gnats flying around here. Out on the porch, just gnats flying around. Sons of bitches.
Right on. I've never really thought about lemon for pain, to be honest with you. That's more of my I put lemon right there in the category that you just kind of described. That's my, good mood,
Yeah.
kind of in a zone, but I've never really thought about it, as far as like a pain strain, to be honest with you. That's more of a uplifter. I would, not necessarily I'm gonna sit back and relax kind of profile.
Oh
But
no, I don't think I relax, but I think it numbs. I think it's actually pain numbing. I don't feel as inflamed or as in pain. It's either anti-inflammatory or something, maybe. I don't know.
right on, right on. Yeah, I enjoy some good hash. For me, that's my like. I want to go to bed type. I'm pulling for the hash. If I want to pull the plug on the night, to be honest with you, or at least I have some good aged hash. That's well, aged hash is best for that.
Yeah, for sure. I've got a little wine fridge with a bunch of aged hash in it. I got some stuff that goes back to like 2014, I guess. Some of the oldest stuff I have, 2012 maybe.
Yeah, that's So how would you say that's changed in flavor? When we talk about curing and stuff like that, has the flavor, gotten any better or worse? I mean, obviously the effect has, but has the flavor changed in that time?
The stuff that's in sealed containers in the refrigerator, in the wine fridge, hasn't changed that as much as the stuff that's been just in the curing room, just in a container, but also in a dry environment and not a chilled environment. Uh, I'd say the overall though, it's definitely just kind of definitely more of like a muddled incense kind of this generic, more of like a generic hash flavor, I guess I should say, kind of evolved towards a little more. Just sweet, earthier, not as I'm not getting any of the flavors as much as you used to get some of the brighter stuff off of it when it's younger and fresher. But I don't think I don't think they've come to like a unified flavor. Like they're still you can still tell the different hashes apart. They still taste different, but
So I heard you mention earlier that you were going to take most of that blood moon, and at one point you had thought about making hash out of it. So when you're thinking about hash, when is your best window for harvest? Are you looking more towards the beginning? You letting it go a little bit longer? What
uh,
good
I
flow
harvest
for you?
flowers. I just look at the flower. They look right by harvest it. I don't really do much hash making. Strictly just buy like, harvest anything just for hash. So it's not like something I'm used to doing. Like I don't ever gear anything towards that. I usually just harvest the flowers and all. I wet trim everything. I like all this wet material that I freeze for fresh frozen hash. So, and as far as the whole controversy, wet trim, dry trim, I wet trim because I'm just by myself. I don't have a lot of plants to trim. Usually only trimming a couple at a time. So I'm taking my time, just nipping off a little bits that I want to take off, and I freeze all the material for hash, and I basically all the small buds just go right to hash too. I only keep just the nice tops. So, I mean, probably half of the greenhouse goes to hash and half goes to bud. And I only look at the tops when they're ripe. That's when I harvest everything. So I don't know if I really don't even look at the bottom until I'm trimming them. Some of it looks a little fluffier than the top. It doesn't get as much sunlight. So I don't know if it's a little less mature. So maybe that's a little bit more in the lighter side. I know there's a trend towards the light colored plants for the real light colored hash, but
So that's a funny kind of. Do you have a? Do you have a? Do you not like popcorn? I actually don't mind popcorn myself, the smaller buds. I've always found them to be super flavorful and, kind of not bad as far as quality. Yeah, bitch to trim. But you know, back in the day, you know, I've always preferred, you know, the better buds, the tops and shit. I always were for patient or for sale. So, you know, I never mind smoking some of the smaller shit for myself. So do you think there's really a loss in quality for, you know, the more popcorn larvier shit?
No, I don't, but I grow mainly for myself and just a couple of close friends. I don't need that much pot, and I grow plenty what I have, so I just keep the tops. It's plenty for me. And like you said, it's a pain in the butt to trim, and that's why I'm trimming by myself. So it's much easier for me to pop them off into the hash than it is for me to trim them. And my wife smokes hash more than I do, so I have to make sure I have plenty of hash. So I got half the plant has to go to hash, so I have enough hash.
Nothing
That's a big
wrong with that.
priority. But
No.
no, sometimes when some of the larvier buds make their way into the finished pile, they smoke just as good. So I don't mind them at all. No. As a matter of fact, I think they actually sometimes they're easier to smoke into a bowl. I can just grab the bud by itself and just pop it in the bowl and light it up. I don't have to break it up or nothing at all. It's just perfect the way it is. Sometimes saves the hassle of grinding it up at all because it's too dense.
So I'm curious, what kind of hash does Jen like to smoke there? I mean, is she smoking bubble? Is she smoking rosin? Is it extract? I mean, what is hash? That's a weird question. What is hash these days? What kind of, you know what I mean? I consider hash to be, you know, oh, hash, you know, it's either bubble or dry sip.
I do ice water separation and we freeze dry it. I do pull two main screens usually, the 4570. It's a 45 screen, and I pull that and the screen above it, which is 70 together. So I just let that run to the 45, and then I pull the 90 screen. I pull the 165 goes to edibles, and then the last screen 25 goes to edibles.
Right on. Right on. So yeah, that's
It's
hash.
now with the Bunuelos though, there's such big resin heads. When I pull the first head that usually goes to into the edibles, I get a big fat wad out of that son of a bitch, and it melts really nice and it's tasty as shit. So I smoke that one. That one, the Bunuelos batch, the first one goes to my personal smokes too. Doesn't go to the edibles. So I get three nice big wads out of the Bunuelos run. And I take the 4570 and roll that into like a big Tootsie Roll. And then the 9120, I leave in little hunks. And I just break that off and crumble it and smoke it. And then the other one, the highest bag, I guess the 145 or something, that's actually looks a little foamy. So the bubble that's really bubbly and light textured. I just break pieces of that off and it just melts into the screen really nice by itself too.
I enjoy some good hash. You know, that's why I ask, because I honestly think some of this points that, you know, we're taking so much away from the plant. I prefer if it's going to be a good hash, straight, you know, water separation for me. I don't mind a good dry sift, but you know, still.
I got like one of them old tumbler jobs. You put like there's some balls to bounce around the side of it and tumbles to keep tumbler kind of deal. I don't know. I tried using that, but I usually don't have any material to put in there. I usually have it's all goes to the water house. I don't have any like stuff laying around, but maybe I'll try taking some of my old buds and put all the old leftover from last year that I have and tumble it out and see what I get. I don't know. Do something with it. It's a good idea.
Is it one of Amelia's, the pollinator there?
I think it's like a knockoff of that same kind of thing though. Some other knockoff brand, I think.
I'm actually hoping to catch her. She's supposed to have one of her dab events here coming up in Michigan, and I'm hoping to catch Melia while she's in Michigan.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I met her at the 2006 Cannabis Cup. We had a booth right across from her.
She's a fun lady. I've been blessed to be able to do a couple episodes with her, and it would be an honor to get to meet her firsthand.
Oh, cool. Oh shit.
What you smoking down there? What's making you call?
I had to finish that bong off of the Mac 1 there. Whew. That last little bit was a little rough. Oh, all right. Whew. I needed that. Well, I'll tell you what, Eagle. I think I'm about ready to go in and grab myself some ice cream or something and veg out for the night. I'm about to smoke myself some hash, I think, and be done for the night.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you, brother, and I appreciate you most definitely passing along these seeds and these posters for me to pass out to these people.
That getting out to everybody, I mean, I got a lot of seeds that I need to still get out to people, so I need to be able to find people that I can rely on that can take packages of seeds and go ahead and help spread the love everywhere.
And yeah, and it's a huge honor for me to be able to have some of these seeds, because a lot of people do really cherish the work that you and Sub put forth 100%. So the people that get these will be the people that have a genuine remembrance of your guys' work. It won't, you know what I mean? So thank you, my friend. 100%. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. And thank you for your time, and enjoy your night, my friend.
For sure.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Wait a minute, Joel. Wait a minute. I've almost forgot. That's how out of practice I am of this. We gotta get this. We gotta get a sound bite. The same old I'm on fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 823 this time. I am ready right now, Mr. Joel.
All right. What's up, all? This is Joel. We're here to fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 843. I hope I got that right.
823.
Let's do it again. Fuck. 823. Let me write this shit down. Hunger didn't help me.
Oh.
Fuck. 823.
I'm super stoked about actually getting here in a new spot, because I was looking through my MacBook and stuff, and I found all my sound bites, all the older sound bites. So now they're with this computer all in one place, so I get to start uploading these again for commercials for the past episode. So I'm glad I remembered this one, Joel. I'm ready, brother. Anytime you are.
All right. All right. What's up, everyone? It's Joel from Norstar here. We're fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 823. Check it out.
Right on, brother. Thank you one more time, and we will talk again soon. For the rest of you guys, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I might be back for a wee nerd world here in a little bit. With that being said, don't forget to do something nice for somebody like you did tonight, Joel. Thanks again, brother. Random acts kindness, do say